today?
No, sir. I think you went to do some duck hunting.
Court is in session and cause number 330-578 and cause number 330-580. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Stedman Deshaun Jones. Mr. Jones, is that your full name?
Yes.
Mr. Jones, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Jones, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Jones, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Jones?
All right.
That's good. Mr. Jones, could you print off Mr. Jones' paperwork, the waiver and the judge's explanation of rights to defendants without attorney? Just hold on a minute, Mr. Jones. Okay, thank you. No, judge's explanation to the defendant without attorney? No, just on this, on the cause number 330-578. Yeah, that's both of them, this is wrong, on that cause number. Yeah, that's this other person. Okay, Mr. Jones, I have before me several documents. The first document that I have is titled Information. And this information alleges that on or about July 4th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an open container. Mr. Jones, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Jones, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yeah.
Mr. Jones, I have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation to Defendant Without an Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
And are these your initials on a line that states, I want to waive my right to an attorney and represent myself?
Yes.
And I have another document. This document is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. Mr. Jones, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
Mr. Jones, I also have before me a document that is titled that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Mr. Jones, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Jones, you notice here that the box that's checked is titled Driving While Intoxicated, DWI first. Now, because this is a DWI with an open container, I have scratched through where it says the minimum was 72 hours to 6 days. In essence, it reads, Class B, driving while intoxicated, DWI, first, class B misdemeanor, confinement in jail for at least 6 days, but not to exceed 180 days, or fine not to exceed $2,000 or both such fine and confinement. Now, do you understand the range of punishment for a DWI with an open container?
Yes.
Now, on page 2 of this same document, there's a set of initials SJ on a line next to a box that's checked canola contingent. That's the first one. Did you initial this document?
Yes.
And there are another set of initials, SJ, below a paragraph that is titled Discovery Admonishment, and it is on a line that reads, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in this case and choose to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Are these your initials?
Yes.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes.
And the next document, do you recognize this? This document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Jones, all of these documents that I have mentioned to you, before you signed and initialed these documents, did you read all of these documents?
Yes.
Do you understand what you read?
Yes.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 and State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor. That's the police report that I showed you previously.
Okay. Now, Mr. Jones, do you have any objections to this? Now, let me do this. Mr. Jones, State's Exhibit number 1 is the document that have, first of all, the document that you acknowledge, that you recognize, that where I made the adjustment to the minimum of 6 days to a maximum of 180 days for this open container case. And also you acknowledged on page 2 that these were your initials. You also acknowledged on page 3 that your signature was above the line that is titled defendant.
Yes.
Now, State's Exhibit number 2 is the probable cause affidavit, which is the police report. The state would like to use all of these documents as evidence against you in your case. Is it all right for the state to use these documents as evidence in your case?
Yes.
Okay. No objections. State's Exhibits number 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Jones, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Say it again?
Is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
No? Okay. Mr. Jones, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
It's 90 days jail to be probated for 1 year.
Okay,
It's 10 hours community service. There's no fine, and it's a DWI education course and drug and alcohol.
you said
assessment.
DWI education?
Yes, sir, and drug and alcohol assessment. And it's to run concurrently. The reason why I waived the fine, he pled in cause number 325044 in August.
Okay, hold
To
on.
run concurrently with that.
Okay, so this is gonna be concurrent with,
325
325
044.
044.
Yes, Your Honor. And he also has another case that's going to be the 330580, but it will be dismissed based on the agreed forfeiture of the weapon, not on the plea.
Okay. And that other case, okay. Now, Mr. Jones, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you will be placed on probation for 1 year. Now, during that 1 year probationary period, you will be required to pay court costs of $422. You will not be required to pay a fine. You will be required to pay a probation fee. You're currently on probation?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're currently on probation, you will only be paying one probation fee. You won't be paying a probation fee in this case. The probation fee of $60 in this case, even though it's on here, you won't be required to pay it because you already currently on probation. Is it in Jefferson County?
Yes, so I just paid what I'm paying now?
No. What I'm saying is that $60 probation fee in here, you won't have to pay it because you're paying probation fee that you're already on.
Okay,
Because both of these probations are currently running at the same time.
okay,
Now, the other thing is, you'll be required to pay, you may be required to pay a urinalysis fee of $15. I don't know if you're paying one already.
yes, I am.
Okay, so you may not be required to pay that either.
Okay,
Okay, so you will also, on the day of the plea, you'll be required to pay a Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay $50. An additional $50. Okay. Now, in this paperwork, it states that you'll be paying $115 per month. Now, that's including what they have factored in here is the probation fee of $60 and the $15 urinalysis fee. So technically, you'll probably be, instead of be paying $115 a month, you'll probably be paying $40 a month. Okay, or somewhere in that area, because they're gonna have to the probation department will make that adjustment. Okay, now do you understand? Now, first of all, would you be able to pay the $115 or the $40 each month?
the party, yes.
Okay. Now, and I could correct that, Mr. Gilliam, who is from the probation office, is that correct? He will not be required to pay the additional probation fee and the
That is correct.
initial,
Yes, sir, that is correct.
and the
But he will
urinalysis
have to pay
fee?
the probation fee that he's already paying right now.
Right.
And there'll be an additional $40 or something.
No. Yeah. What I'm saying is, if we take the $60 plus the $15, that's $75. If we take that out of this $115, I think that'll leave us $40,
Yes, sir.
right? And so, so you'll be paying somewhere in the range of $40, and you'll be able to pay that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, the state is also offering that you perform 10 hours of community service. And I think you're already probably doing community service in the other cases, so that's why they just gave you 10 hours here. And you'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class, and you'll be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment. This case will run concurrent with cause number 325-044, and you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Jones, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Jones, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Jones, your next case is cause number 330-580. That case It's styled the state of Texas versus Stedman Deshaun Jones. And Mr. Jones, in that case, you're charged with the Class A misdemeanor offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon while engaging in criminal activity. Now, state, you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor. The state has a motion to forfeit the weapon that Mr. Jones has signed along with the evidence log there.
Okay, now, Mr. Jones, the state has filed a motion to forfeit the weapon in clause number 330580. And Mr. Jones, do you recognize this motion?
Yes,
Mr. Jones, is this your signature
yes,
above the line that's titled defendant?
yes.
Now, Mr. Jones, before you sign this motion, did you read the motion?
Yes,
Did you understand what you signed?
yes,
Is everything in this motion true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
yes.
Mr. Jones, I will be granting the state's motion to forfeit the weapon in cause number 330580. And Mr. Jones, I'm signing the motion as we speak. State, do you have an additional motion?
Yes, Your Honor. The state has signed a motion to dismiss clause number.
Okay, now, Mr. Jones, the state has signed a dismissal in cause number 330580, and I'm signing that dismissal. And once I finish signing the dismissal, you'll be able to get a copy of the dismissal. Now, and you'll be free to go. Now, Mr. Jones, you're gonna stand on the X next to, stand on the X in front of our court coordinator. Excuse me, the court clerk right here. And so once you, once I give you a copy, sign this document, and you get your, the documents from the court clerk, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, done.
I haven't heard back from my client. I gotta be in Livingston on a federal case.
I just need
pretty soon, so-
Okay,
this
well,
black thing here.
you can, you free to go if the client call in while we're here.
We'll keep trying out.
Yeah, okay. We'll try to contact you.
He did call this morning, but I don't know where he went.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
See,
Have a weekend. You too.
These ways.
Get the drive.
Give it the further to the